My name's Elizabeth and I like to sew smart. A couple of years ago I decided to have a blue Christmas instead of the traditional green and red, but I only had scraps left from a blue Christmas wall hanging that I had made up as a kit several years before. So today I'm going to show you how you can use your scraps and you can actually make a nice wall hanging when you need a change of colour for your Christmas decorations. So this was the kit that I originally designed, but I was left, after all the kits had gone, I was left with just pieces of vertical border fabric and not enough to go across the bottom and the top. I like to keep it as one piece really all the way around, and I still had lots of scraps of these pieces left over, but I'm going to show you how I'm making it now using pieces to go across the bottom and across the top to make it look like one piece. For those of you who haven't used Visifix before, it's paper and it's used for applique. It has a sticky side, which you iron on to a piece of scrap fabric, and then you'll take your template, draw all the way around your template on the paper side, cut it out carefully, remove your paper, and the underside is really nice and sticky, and all you do is you'll position it on your panel wherever you want it, ready to iron on and then applique on. I've ironed all my applique pieces on very carefully. I will be trimming just those little tiny pieces of thread. You sometimes get a little bit of fray on them, but before I stitch it on, of course. And when I put my work under the machine, I always put a piece of glad bake or sandwich wrap underneath. It just makes the work move really easily, and then when you've finished you can peel it off. I'll show you now the best stitch that I use to put my applique on. I use a zigzag stitch, and I have a stitch width of 2 and a length of 0.6. I find that that is a very good cover for an applique seam. So I've got an open-toed foot, and I'm just including the selvage on that piece of applique. I'm coming down, and if I turn that around, you'll now see that that makes a really nice cover for your applique edge. Now, as I said, you can use the buttonhole stitch, but I find this little narrow zigzag gives it a real stable finish. All the applique has now been stitched on really neatly, and like I say, because we're sewing smart, I didn't have the border fabric left, so I've cut some from scrap again, a narrow border. Now I have measured from the bottom to the top and cut a narrow border for each of these sides. They must be the same. Remember, you've got to make sure that you measure exactly from there to there, and when you come to do the top, from outer edge to outer edge. So I'm now going to pin right sides together, pin that border on, and stitch using a 1/4 inch stitch all the way down. Same on the other side, and then I'm going to press the seams to the outside. I have put the side borders on, and I've just left a little piece to show you, because after you have put your applique on, you just need to lift the paper out all the way around, and you can tear it off from each piece. Just pull it off really neatly. And all the pieces need to come off, and it just makes it sit. I left that one and that one because it just makes it sit a little bit better while I stitch it. But now it's all off, and I'm now going to put the top and the bottom border on. Now mine actually measures 14.5, but yours might be different. So I'm going to measure another piece, cut it at exactly that distance. This distance here must be exactly the same as the top distance. That way you know that your panel is square. Because my fabric that I had left over had a one-way design, I really like this fabric, so I decided that I wouldn't replace it. I was going to recut and make the most of it. Now I want my border to look like it's one piece, so I had 2 pieces left for the side, but the piece I had left to make the bottom wasn't horizontal, it still had the vertical pattern on. So I've actually cut and stitched together a few pieces, and yes, I have opened my seams because it's quite a heavy fabric and I wanted it to lay smooth. And I've joined these together, and I'm actually going to stitch that onto the bottom because I think that you can't really see the joins in that pattern because it's very, very full and got lots going on. So I'm going to cut just like I did for the first border. I'm going to cut the exact length of that and that, right sides together like that, stitch it on, and then do exactly the same again for the top and the bottom as I did for the first border. So both the side and the top and bottom borders have now been stitched on. The seams I have pressed, as I told you, to the outside. Now because we had pressed these seams here open, I will end up having to quilt because I don't like to leave more than 1.5 inches with a flat seam open underneath, and that will secure it. Now what I've done next, I haven't squared it off completely because the backing fabric, which is again scrap fabric, and the wadding will have to be bigger than your top quilt because you're going to trim it all off after you've quilted. So our next step is to actually quilt. We'll pin this and quilt it through all 3 layers. I'm going to do all 3 layers. Now remember, this is a wall hanging, so your backing fabric isn't that important because nobody's going to see that because it's going to be next to the wall. All you're going to see is the front. I had spare fabric left over from the roof and from the first border. Now they're not all good strips across the fabric, but I'm going to join those for the binding. I'll put those to one side, and then before we actually put the binding on, I'm going to show you how to put a sleeve on the top, at the back, a nice sleeve which you'll stitch on for your hanger to slip all the way through end to end and make your wall hanging really, it just hangs really nice if you get that exact size. So the next step, as I just said, is we're going to quilt. Make sure you pin, or you can baste if you prefer with an adhesive, if you prefer to do that. And I'm going to stipple around on the background there, and I'm going to straight stitch in the ditch around the first border frame, and then halfway across my outside border I'm going to stitch straight line about 1.5 inches out, I would say, not quite halfway, about 1.5 inches out all the way around. That will make it nice and secure and stable, and it will really make it hang nice. So now I have stippled the background all the way around, and I've stitched in this side of the border, first border, and that side, and I've also stitched 1 3/4 inches from the outside edge here all the way around here. You can probably just see it with a darker thread. And now what I'm going to do, I have already done this on 3 sides. I'm going to cut this border, the outside border, back to 4 inches. Now you had plenty left of your original backing, and I have measured on here 1, 2, 3, 4 inches from the outside edge to there and to there, and I'm just going to trim off all the way down there. So that's my top border now. Now the thing that makes the wall hanging really sit nicely is when you have a hanger that goes on the back, you want the hanger to sit nicely on the back there. So what you need to do is you need to have a sleeve that will cover that nicely, that will slip through. So you're going to fasten it along the top edge, stitch it along the top edge, and you will have to hand stitch it along the fold. Now for that you'll need a 5-inch piece of scrap fabric. Again, I just had 5 inches, and you will have to turn it inside out and pin and stitch 1/4 inch on each end. You can leave this raw edge open at the top. So I'm now going to stitch that 1/4 inch in either side, and that's going to go along the top at the back before I bind. So I've stitched the 1/4 inch seam on each end on the wrong side. I'm going to turn that right side, and I've pressed it because it does need a little bit of sharpness in the crease. On the back, the raw edge is going to sit on the raw edge of the top of your quilt. Let me just move that a little bit so you can see it better. I've roughly got 1 inch to 1.25 inches either end. You need that little bit of gap. And I'm going to stitch only 1/8 of an inch along here at the top, the raw edge, because the binding, when you put the binding on, it has 1/4 inch, so you'll catch it all in and you won't see any spare stitches. And that's going to sit there when, before you hand stitch it down, you're going to put the rod in from the wall hanger, and that will just secure it really nicely. So what I'm going to do now is just stitch this on across here at the top, all raw edges together, 1/8 of an inch all the way along. So I've stitched it on, just a very narrow stitch along the top there, 1/8 of an inch, and it's nice and secure. And just checking, this is the rod that will have the fancy hanger pieces on the ends. So I'm going to hand stitch it down. Now when you quilted 1 3/4 inches out on the front, if you just line that up on that stitch line, it should be quite perfect along there. And then I'm going to bind after that. If you have any problem with binding, there's a handy hint number 1 and number 2 that I've done. You can go along to that, and it will show you different ways to bind, and it will show you different ways of joining your binding. And the other thing is, if you have a problem, if you find it difficult to actually stipple quilt, then handy hint number 3 shows you a really easy way of stipple quilting, and it comes out looking really quite nice. So I've stitched on the binding all the way around, and as I said, you can refer to the handy hints 1 and 2 to know how to do that really neatly so that you get a really nice finish. I've put in my hanger, and I'll just lay that there so you can see. And it has a really nice finish. So here's your finished wall hanging. It looks very nice on your wall, ready for your colour change at Christmas. If you did want to, you could put some little gemstones or pearls around the wreath and on the trees and on the front door for a doorknob. But I think it looks really nice just the way it is. It's simple, but it's very elegant.